Hey everybody, welcome back to The Stuff of Legend. My name is D-Lo and I've got another video for you guys. Today we're going to be talking about Aquaman 2 being reportedly delayed, but I wanted to cut through some of the facts and cut through some of the fallacies that surround this report. So we're going to go ahead and dig into this because I want to separate fact from fiction with you guys so you guys don't walk away thinking, oh my gosh, we're going to have to wait another 4 years if that's not true. But we're going to siphon that out together with each other. All right, so let's go ahead and get into that now. I wanted to show you guys first. I'll show you Aquaman, or rather Jason Momoa, the actor who plays Aquaman, his Instagram, the post that started this whole series of news wave that's coming at all of us comic book nerds, and then also the article that kicked off this story, and another article that kind of fed off of that and gave us a little bit more information. So we're going to go ahead and switch screens over here so that we can check out the news and see what is up. We also have in the comments here, Andrew Becom 100 says, am I the first here? This is so cool. Yeah, hi. Yes, you are the first one here. Welcome. And it's great to have you here. Also, Nerdy Blurb TV. Hey, and he's the one. I had sent this to myself as an article that we could discuss, but I wasn't going to get around to it probably till maybe even next week, which is pretty late. But Nerdy Blurb TV texted that to me and said, hey, bro, I think this is going to be good for your audience. And I was like, you know what? You're right. Why am I slacking on this? I made a video today. I'm going to make 2 videos today. This is the second one coming at you guys, so you can get overloaded with nerd news today. And there's a lot happening, so it's really tough to keep up sometimes, but this is for you. I made this for you. So let's get into this. First up, we have Pride of Gypsies. Now, a fair warning for you guys. Jason Momoa, in his real life, does curse quite a bit on his social media, and so there will be a cuss word displayed on the screen. I don't condone that. I'm just going to show you guys the news and the facts so you can read it for yourself and see those things, okay? So I believe there's only one cuss word, if I'm not mistaken. We might see that quoted a couple of times throughout the articles, but just keep in mind, that's, you know, this is a PG channel. If you don't want to hear that, you're not going to hear me say it, but I have to show you the article. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and click into here. So this is the image that Pride of Gypsies, a.k.a. Jason Momoa, a.k.a. Aquaman, shared with us. It says, F this, and TMT, which is a, I believe that stands for 30-meter telescope, is 4 times bigger. And then it says, sorry, Warner Bros., we can't shoot Aquaman 2. So he says that right here. Sorry, Warner Bros., we can't shoot Aquaman 2 because Jason got run over by a bulldozer trying to stop the desecration of his native land. This is not happening. We are not letting you do this anymore. Enough is enough. Go somewhere else. Repost. This is what telescope construction looks like. And it says Subaru Telescope 1992, which is a good year. That's the year I was born. And then the TMT will be 4 times larger or on unscathed land. We must protect our sacred mountain from further desecration. And then he hashtags the mountains and then the TMT shutdown. And everyone, including famous people like Wasted Fett, who does the Boba Fett and Jango Fett and Clone Trooper armor sets really, really well. He's on here. The real Camargo, Rome. There's a ton of blue check marks that are on here. That you can see if you scroll through. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I wanted to kick that off so you guys can see this. Now, the whole point of this conversation is that he says that they're not going to be able to shoot Aquaman because he's busy protesting, right? Well, let's go ahead and take a look and see what The Wrap has to say about this. This is the first, I believe this was the very first article that was breaking the story, but I'll show you guys a second one that covers much of the same stuff, but with much more visual content to show. So here it shows Jason Momoa in a picture here, and it says, Jason Momoa says he can't start shooting Aquaman 2 because he got run over by a bulldozer, in quotes, while protesting construction of a giant telescope on land considered sacred to native Hawaiians. It says, sorry, Warner Bros., we can't shoot. We already read this. Enough is enough. Go somewhere else. And then it just says, in a follow-up post, Momoa asked fans to protest the movement, writing, during this time we are trying to unite both the Kanaka and Hawaii-born peoples alike to protect not only the Mauna, but also our way of life and greatest natural resources in Hawaii as a whole. And I think this is a really good cause. I mean, whether you support it or not, we can talk about that in the comments. If you think this is a big deal, if you think this is not a big deal, I say there's probably a billion other places you can put the telescope. You know, if the people don't want it, you shouldn't probably put it there. You know what I mean? And so there's plenty of other places that will take that telescope. No big deal, no problems. But you know, if you got people that are saying, hey man, we've got limited space, limited resources, maybe look somewhere else for that project. But you know, let's just keep reading. We can talk about that in the comments, and I want you to let me know what you think. So we have Momoa has spent several weeks protesting on the highest point on the state of Hawaii, Mauna Kea, in an effort to stop construction of the 30-meter telescope, a $1.4 billion scientific project underwritten by a group of universities in California and Canada, as well as partners in China, India, and Japan. Even Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson chimes in. And so you can see like a lot of this stuff is being written here, but I've already done the research. This will be in the link. The link to this will be in the description below, so you can check that out for yourself. But I think what's going to be a little bit easier for us, the viewers and the followers, is going to the BuzzFeed article, because they followed up almost every single point that was talked about in the wrap, but they did it with posts that happened after the article was written. So we can go ahead and show you guys, you know, Aquaman here, and then this is one of the posts where he's talking about like you know, hey, like he, you know, we're all standing together. You know, one type, you know, one people, we're going to unite and we want to stop this from happening, keep our land sacred. Even The Rock, and this is what I wanted to show you guys, The Rock chimes in about Mauna Kea because he is also Polynesian. It says, it's about respecting culture and respecting people. So obviously he's very against the desecration of the land there. He wants to make sure that, you know, you preserve the land. If the people don't want it, don't force it on them. You know, go somewhere where they're going to want the telescope, or where that telescope will probably be better appreciated, not burdened or bothered by people who have been, you know, growing up on that land. They appreciate the land. They want it to be kept the way that it was and not changed. And so you know, obviously there's a lot of people that are on the side of Jason Momoa here and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And it shows here Jason Momoa writing TMT plus Mauna, and then he's like finishing it up, you know. But it says desecration, you know, he's calling the Honolulu native. It says the Honolulu native went on to call any construction on the dormant volcano a desecration. And yeah, you know, it's really it's something that is a hot button. Now, I'll get into how this ties into and what it means about the delay in just a second. But it says, Jason has joined the fight after several peaceful activists were arrested. We are the unexpected. We are the resistance. We will never give up, Jason Momoa writes. And then it continues down here. TMT, you are welcome in the Canary Islands. The conditions are better and you are welcome there. Even better, the best conditions are in Morocco. But if no one wants you, TMT, then shoot it to space. Please leave our Mauna alone, he declared. And there's a video here, lots of posts regarding this. Now, he is under contract, I would like to point out. And I believe that is stated here. Contractually, Jason is likely obligated to fulfill his duties to the film, which is slated to hit theaters December 16, 2022, which is 4 years after the release of Aquaman 1. Now, that's a lot of time to make a film, but obviously it's massively CGI intensive. They're still trying to write the film, and I believe they just hired the writer from the first film, and James Wan has agreed to be producer. We don't know yet if he's going to be directing. Now let me get into how I believe this is not actually a delay of the film. So because we know he is contractually obligated, this to me does not sound like something that is serious. He's not going to be here the entire time protesting. He has other obligations he needs to worry about, other movies, maybe shows that he's going to be working on, possible, you know, potential like maybe Netflix projects or whatever he's working on. Aquaman 2 will be his biggest project. He is known for approximately two primary things. And no, it's not Stargate. It's going to be his work on Game of Thrones and his work as Aquaman. Those are the two things he's known for primarily. And if Aquaman and Warner Brothers says, hey, you got to be here, he's got to be there. Also, I don't think this is going to be that long of a protest. It's not going to be something that will last very long. The whole world is hearing about it. Either the companies that are putting that up are either going to say, screw you, we're going to put it on the mountain, and they complete the project, or it's going to end with them saying, you know what, let's just move it somewhere else. We don't need all this bad press. Let's just put it somewhere where it's not going to, stir the pot. It's going to end one of those two ways, and Jason Momoa doesn't have to be physically there to continue protesting. That's what we have social media for. So there will be a presence of people there protesting this entire time. He will not be part of that. I am almost certain of that. He will be part of that in part when he is available. But when he's not available, he will certainly not be on that mountain. What he's going to probably do, this, and you know what? Let me just add this. Food for thought, okay, before I take some live comments. What we're looking at here when he says, sorry, Warner Bros., we can't shoot Aquaman 2 because Jason got run over by a bulldozer trying to stop the desecration of his native land. This is not happening. We're not letting this go anymore. He's obviously being, a little hyperbolic, a little facetious when he's saying because Jason got run over by a bulldozer. He did not get run over by a bulldozer. What he's saying here is he's saying, I will stand in the way of this truck metaphorically because we are not going to let this happen. And he's saying that he has plans to fight this with everything he's got, but we also know that he's not going to actually get in front of the bulldozer and have himself run over if that's the case. What will happen is he's going to keep... It's like when you say... It's like if you're at the DMV, right? And you say, hey, can someone... Hey, how about, someone call my wife and let her know I'm not going to be home for Christmas because I'm going to be here for the rest of the year. It's like that. So he's being sarcastic, sardonic maybe, facetious. He's being hyperbolic. He's speaking bigger than he actually means because he's trying to make a point. And he's saying that we're gonna fight this. We're not stopping. And we're not gonna back down either. That's what he's saying. It doesn't mean he's actually gotten run over. It doesn't mean he's gonna delay Aquaman. And certainly Warner Brothers isn't delaying Aquaman. In fact, I tried to look it up, but it's so flooded right now with all the news about Aquaman 2 is delayed, Aquaman 2 is delayed, because that's clickbait, right? But what happens here is he says it's delayed here, and all the news outlets then get to run with that title, including this video. But it's, I want to help clear the air on this. He's actually just going to be with them in present now because he's available, and once he's not available, he'll be there with them in spirit and on social media. They're going to fight this, but you don't have to be on the ground to fight it. And Aquaman 2 is not going to be delayed. It's 4 years out. They've got plenty of time for them to tackle this even. It'll be some time before they even have the story down, ready to start shooting, everything in motion, ready to be worked out and shot. They won't need him on the ground for a while. They're not going to need his input. It's not like he's writing the story. He's there to portray the main actor, the main character, once that story is written and ready to be, shot with the cast and crew and everybody there. So they're not even in that phase yet. So this isn't going to overlap with that. Even if it drags out a long time, he's contractually obligated to show up and shoot Aquaman 2, and he's going to be there social mediaing the whole time anyway. So he can fight it simultaneously while shooting Aquaman, and it will not delay this film. In fact, what I was going to say was I saw a headline for an article that said that the film was actually being expedited. It was being moved up, not delayed. It was actually coming closer. They were considering pushing the release date sooner, but they gave a very far release date to give them time to work it out and do it the right way. Because that's one thing that's very important to James Wan, very important to Walter Hamada, very, very important to Jeff Johns, the rest of the writing team. Don't do it right now. Do it right. You know what I mean? It's doing it right versus doing it right now. They know that if you do it right now, you're rushing it. It's not going to work. But if you do it right, then that's good. And the expediting news, I believe, ties back to them landing the original writer from Aquaman 1. And so I believe that was what happened there. So now let's cut over and take some comments. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this screen so that I can cut back to here and you guys can see my face. We have some more comments. Comic Man Jake says, the man with the news. Yes. I love covering news with you guys. I love doing it live because then I get to talk with you guys, get your input, get your opinions. What do you think's happening do you think it's delayed? Or after what I've shown you guys, after what we've talked about, do you say, you know what, maybe he's just being hyperbolic, he's with them in spirit, but there's really is no schedule overlap here, it'll be fine? What are your thoughts? Now, thanks Comic Man Jake for stopping in. Leave more comments if you're still here. And then also Nerdy Blurb TV says, this is a big deal. Hang on, let me see. I think my screen might be pushed out a hair. So I'm going to see if I could pull that in a touch. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let me see if that'll work. Okay, I think my like comment section is like just on the edge of my bezel. I think it's like it's cutting off the N word, so forgive me if this is not verbatim, but it says this is a big deal because not only are there more spots for this and even so many telescopes on the islands, that this island is sacred to the people. Just because it's convenient doesn't make it right. I agree. Just because it's convenient doesn't make it right. Maybe they do have some sort of like, I don't know, astrological reasoning for why this particular spot of the Earth makes the most sense for this telescope. Maybe it's covering a portion of the Earth where there isn't another telescope for hundreds of miles. That could be the case. I don't know. But that's just me playing devil's advocate. If it were me, I would go somewhere where there's not going to be a ton of resistance and news articles constantly blasting saying, hey man, we hate you. So I would not want to play the villain here, especially when the people that are advocating against you are in the household names of every child and every parent across the entire world. Everyone knows about Aquaman. Everyone follows Jason Momoa. He's got 13.1 million followers on Instagram alone, and most people don't follow him. Like, there's a lot of people that don't follow him, but they still love the guy. They still know who he is. They still appreciate his Aquaman. So, to me, it's kind of a lose-lose if you're the person putting the telescope in there, because not only did you pick what I would consider a crappy location, it's a dormant volcano. What happens if it ceases to be dormant? You know what I mean? Like, what happens if there's some, like, major earthquake on the island, shakes something? I don't know how volcanoes work down below. But, like, if you know, something shakes loose in a major event, and then all of a sudden it's no longer a dormant volcano, what happens? You know, you just, like, invested, what did they say again? It was, like, $1.4 billion or something like that, something crazy. That's a lot, you know? So I would actually pick a better spot than that. So, that's just me. That's just me thinking out loud. Let's go to Andrew Becom. Or Beacom 100. Wouldn't he have to shoot Aquaman 2 whenever Warner Bros. Wants to shoot it because he signed a contract? Yes. So contractually, he has to fulfill those obligations. So he won't be able to just stay there. The reason why he's saying, sorry, Warner Bros., can't film Aquaman 2 because I'm busy, is because it's going to stir the pot. That's obviously a play to put that into the YouTube channels like mine, yours, and everybody else out here who has channels like Nerdy Blurb TV, Comic Man Jake, myself. We're going to be talking about this for a while. We have to explain to most people and our family and friends what's going on here, because people only read the headlines. It's our job to read deeper and say, hey man, this is fact, this is fiction, this is where he's just joking around. And he's clearly serious about the cause, but joking around about that schedule, because he has no say whether or not Aquaman is delayed or not. The only reason it could be delayed is if he actually does get run over by that bulldozer, which he did not. So, you know, if he was like dead or ran over crippled, you know, in the hospital, obviously he can't fulfill that due to a medical, you know, reason or life and death reason. But in this case, that's not the case. He's, you know, he posted about it afterward. He's still posting on his Instagram. We know he's okay. So in this situation, it's him being sarcastic, joking around, but joking in a way that's supposed to inflate the situation, so every household in America is going to be talking about it. And it worked. We're all talking about it. So let's take the next one. Nerdy Blurb TV says to Andrew, he says, you would think so, but Warner Bros. Knows that they can't do it without him. I'm sure there's a certain amount of leeway. However, I don't see it postponing. I think that's what it says here. Sorry, I can't read all the comments because the side of this thing is like is being ridiculous. But then so I agree. I mean, they know they can't do it without him. But he doesn't just get to say no. That's breaking contract. He has to either be dead, dying, or bedridden sick. He doesn't just get to say, sorry, I'm at an event, or sorry, I'm protesting something. That's not actually a valid reason to break the contract, I would imagine. And so there's a lot of people whose paychecks are riding on this movie, and the checks have already pretty much been cut by Warner Brothers. They greenlit the film. It's already, they're already paying James Wan. James Wan's making it happen, producing, but they've got a writer on. They've already got Jeff Johns consulting. It's it's already set in motion. It's just at the beginning stages where they don't need him right now. So that's my thoughts there. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you guys, you still think, hey, they're not going to do this because he's going to be down there this entire time for the next 4 years. That's a long time to stand out in the beating sun, blocking bulldozers. But I do think this is a noble cause. I do think that Jason Momoa is right and that they should move this. But what do I know? I know I just learned about this because of this post right here, this stinking article. I just read it, a couple days back, and so or was it yesterday? I don't remember, but whatever. My perception of time is not always perfect. So then let's go ahead and take some Nerdy Blurb said, don't see a postponing. Nerdy Blurb follows up again with Andrew Becom says, I would imagine that this is going to bring the topic up for people to be educated. Yes, this is definitely an educational subject. Obviously, that's what Pride of Gypsies wants to do. Is he says, I am an influencer in millions of homes around the world. Maybe even a billion. You might even make an argument for a billion people saying, oh yeah, Aquaman, we know who that is. It's that, it's the Islander guy. It's the guy that, he doesn't look like the blonde guy, but now he's got the black hair, but he's got the tats, and I think it's a really good take on the character. That's what most people are going to say. And then all of the comic book nerds in the world, a lot of them, know who he is. So if he mentions this project, everyone in the world knows about it. Very smart move. Very, very smart move. And so, yeah, it is definitely an educational event. All right, now let's take a look. Nerdy Blurb says again, of course, it's a metaphor. The bulldozer would break. It says, bazinga. Like how they do it in, what's that show? I forget. The Big Bang Theory. A bazinga. However he does that. But yeah, totally. Bulldozer would crack under the might of the pecs of Jason Momoa. His pectoral muscles are larger than that of Thanksgiving turkeys. He is huge. The guy is just ginormous. He's Beef City. He's Swobraham Lincoln. He is just a 4x4 with extra cheese. The guy is gigantic. That's an In-N-Out reference if you guys haven't eaten there. But it also from Andrew Becom, it says, I think it will start. I think it will be released in 2020. You're right. It's going to be released December 2020, hopefully exactly 4 years after the original in 2018, which was last year. So we've got another 3 years approximately, or less than 3 years now. I think it's like 2.5 years until that film comes out. That's actually not a lot of time. And that means that they're not rushing the project. They've been taking their time trying to write a script plan. People have been coming up with ideas, and now they actually have the writer set, and which means he probably brought a script with them. They will probably rework the script, work on it, make it work for how they want it. And yeah, but I do think that's what we're looking at, 2022, and it's not delayed. That's just what it was set for. So yeah, that's pretty much what we're looking at. And then let me see. Nerdy Blurb says Hawaii is ideal for these telescopes because they have some of the highest mountains in the world. I did not know that. That's actually that's a really good point. But maybe it's also. I still think that they could just get away with doing it somewhere else. It may not be the most ideal, but it might be a better business move. Although I don't know that the scientific community cares much for business. They probably have other people doing the business for them on the premise of what they need for science and research and stuff. So, obviously, whenever you're doing research for the sake of science, you want not just close, you want exactly what you need to accomplish your project. I can see why they would want that mountain if it's one of the highest peaks on Earth. That makes sense. But what doesn't make sense to me is putting it on a dormant volcano and putting it where literally the entire island does not want you there. You know what I mean? That does not make a lot of sense at all. I mean, in fact, that could put the workers in jeopardy or at risk if any of these protesters decide to be not so peaceful and take up criminal activity. That could be very not good. So that's my thought. Hopefully, it looks like so far the protesting has been civil from what I can see, and that's good. That's the way that it should be. But I hope that people listen to that. And then it says, "LOL puns for days." Yeah, dude, I love making buff jokes. Those are like one of my favorite types of jokes to make is buff jokes. So anyway, that's basically all I had to say. If those are the end of the comments, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Also, please click the subscribe button. And if you haven't already, turn on the notifications by clicking the notification bell next to the subscribe button so you can be alerted when I go live next time, and be a part of the Stuff of Legend by commenting, and we can have this conversation in the live, and then you get to be on the YouTubes, on the interweb. So now, with that out of the way, leave your opinions on this whole subject down below. Do you think that the delay is fake news and it's just overinflation of clickbaity titles, or is it actual and you think that Jason Momoa is in fact going to get run over by a bulldozer and be able to opt out for a time out of his contract with Aquaman 2? What do you think is happening? Let me know down below in the comments. I can't wait to hear from you guys. So anyways, like, share, subscribe. I love you, and stay tuned for more right here on The Stuff of Legend. There we go.